It is the story dominating the front pages today. Pub passports, as the Prime Minister said. The concept of vaccine certification should not be totally alien to us. After he backed compulsory jabs for care home staff. So it brings this whole thing about COVID passports onto the agenda, doesn't it? And I think with Boris Johnson just now, he's neither confirming or denying anything, which leads to a lot of speculation about where we are going, and particularly over COVID passports, you know.
Yeah.
So would you be asking people if they had them? Do you see that as part of our future?
You know what I've learned through this year? You can't really say yay or nay for everything because everything changes so often, doesn't it? I mean, everything, like you said, I'm just speculating and over-speculating. And I just can't see how we're going to have a situation where we're not asked for either a negative test or a passport. How are we going to get back to any kind of normality? Busy places, concerts, packed restaurants. How are we going to do that?
But the danger of that is the them and us, isn't it? You know, that you're going to have two...
But it's a choice, isn't it? If you choose not to get the vaccine, then I guess you're kind of doing that on the basis of... So there's a difference between the state saying you cannot go here, there and everywhere if you haven't had a vaccine. This is sort of about commercial enterprises. So if you have a pub that's been shut for the best part of a year because of coronavirus, I get it if you are somebody that wants to go, you know what, I don't want to risk having to have my place shut down again because somebody comes in who maybe hasn't had the vaccine, gets really bad coronavirus, whatever. So it's more about that private companies, I'm assuming, can say, like they can say, you're too drunk, we don't want you in here, or whatever, that they can exercise that if they want to.
Well, you're going to have businesses who may or may not make that decision, but also there's going to be private individuals who might decide to sort of determine their socialising depending on whether or not the people they're socialising with have the vaccine. I mean, Kelle, would you imagine people doing that? Would you do that?
Well, I think that's the difficulty, isn't it? That the vaccination at the moment is voluntary. You either take it or you don't. It's totally your choice. But I don't have a choice of controlling your decision. So the only thing that I can control is where I go and how much I put myself at risk. So for me, the decisions that I make, because it's not, it's not mandatory, you don't have to do it. So if I have to choose where I put myself. So going on a tube is a risk. So, going, and not that I'm going to go, I don't think I'm going to be one of those people that kind of goes from 0 to 60 when we get into April and June of this year. I'm not going to be that person that's going out clubbing or that's going to putting myself in those kinds of environments. I don't think I'm going to go from 0 contact to 100% contact just like that, because I don't think I'm going to feel comfortable enough to do so. Also, having the knowledge that we're choosing. Some people, lots of people in my family have chosen not to. So therefore, I know I'm still going to be putting myself at some kind of risk, even though once I've had my second vaccination, I'm going to be 75% protected. I still don't feel like I'm going to be, willy-nilly and sort of, just going anywhere and everywhere just because I can.
But I mean, that's such a good point, because even within your family and friendship group, there will be different decisions.
But would you feel reassured? So say, for example, I know you're not particularly, but if you were the kind of person that likes to go to the pub, if there was a big sign outside saying only vaccinated people are allowed in, would you feel reassured to go in there?
You know what, I have to say, I probably would feel more reassured if everybody was vaccinated in that particular area. I would feel more assured. But then you've got to get into that situation of, how are we then policing the fact that we are, vaccinated? I know we're going to have our passports, so there are going to be people on the doors checking that. How are we going to police that to ensure that that does actually happen?
And you know what? It's like Kiki said to me the other day. She said, so, Mum, if you can, go on a holiday and you can go to the pub and you can have... Where will I be?
Oh.
Because she's 13. And what we still don't really know what the answer is to that question.
She'll be in the car park with a Vimto like we were.
We're back at the 70s now.
Thank goodness her dad's not David Cameron, or he might forget that she was even there in the first place. I mean, we did do a poll on this, and we did ask people, would you feel more confident socialising with a COVID passport? And 68%, so more than 2/3 of people said that they would, which I think does raise that interesting question of, we say it's a choice, technically it's a choice, nobody's going to pin you down and force you to have it, but if society as a whole moves in that direction, are people going to feel pressurised and potentially more isolated. And you know, we have the facts in front of us. At the moment, 44% of all black or black British adults reported vaccine hesitancy, which is the highest of all ethnic groups. I mean, Kelle, would you worry about sort of further feelings of marginalisation, if you like?
Absolutely. I think, you know, you're in a minority anyway, just by being a black or ethnic person. And if you're not taking the vaccine, it's just going to further marginalise you. You're going to definitely move yourself into this isolated group of people that don't want to be vaccinated. So you are going to segregate yourself even more, I feel. And I know that it's, you know, it's a difficult one, and there are lots of people that feel very principled about it. Like I said, there are members of my family that just don't want to take it, and they have their reasons. But at the same time, we've also got to think about this as a huge holistic community, how we're going to move forward and how we're going to secure the safety of us all as a huge community. And I think that's what we've got to kind of think of. If we're going on holiday, we wouldn't think twice about having a vaccination because we're going to put ourselves at risk in a particular country. I think we've got to move into that kind of mentality and thinking about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's going to be an ongoing conversation for months and months and months and months, undoubtedly.